something. Because you haven't had your coffee, some of you, I'm looking at your eyes. So I need you guys to all stand up, right? All of you stand up, for sure. But I don't just want you to stand up. Even those of you guys in the back, for sure. I want you guys to take part in this exercise. Super, super huge exercise. Because we all have dreams and goals, right? We all got them. So I want you to reflect for a minute, for about 10 seconds, on what your goal or your big goal or your dream is. Go. Just reflect on it. And now, as this 10 seconds is up, I want you to share your goal or your dream with someone to your right and your left. And the other person can do vice versa. So take your time. I'm going to give you about 60 seconds to do that. Go. Awesome. Awesome. So, first of all, thank you guys for sharing with each other. Give yourselves a hand, and feel free to have a seat there as well. Awesome, awesome. I felt the energy. I felt the momentum. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited to be part of Novus Club and this pitch as well, this pitch contest. I'm so excited. My name is Dr. Peter James. I am from the College of DuPage. I am the entrepreneurship professor on staff at the College of DuPage. But that's just a little bit of what I do, you see? Because my journey has been a long one. After 4 industries and 4 career shifts, too many degrees and certifications to talk about, and multiple successful and failed business attempts, here I stand before you, imperfect. I'm originally from New York City, and during college, I went to go work for FedEx. I was a courier. Yeah, you know, the guy delivering the packages, right? That was me. I actually thought that was going to be a career from college because I was working with some guys who were doing that for 20 or 30 years. But then the Army came calling, and they said, hey, we'll pay you to be an officer in the Army. And at that time, it was a pretty good move. It was paying more than any of my friends were making, so I went. Did 8 years as an Army officer. That got old after moving 5 times in 8 years. So I made another shift, another transition shift, and I went to a pharmaceutical company. I did sales and marketing in the pharmaceutical world. It taught me a whole heck of a lot. I learned the corporate environment up and down, but even after 5 to 10 years of that, I got the itch. I had to kind of make another transition as well. And transitions aren't bad. And sometimes our adults will tell us, hey, make your mind up and don't jump so much. Listen, I'm an advocate for jumping, being a mover and a shaker. So I jumped. I jumped into higher education. I became a business and leadership professor at DeVry University. But then a little bit later on, College of DuPage said to me, hey, you know what? We want you to run your business, but also bring that business experience to the classroom. And I said, wow, and you're going to pay me for that? And they said yes. And here I stand as well. So I tried it traditionally. I did the college route, and it didn't quite work out for me how I planned it. It never does, right? And I say traditionally because my mom, like many of your parents, mom and dads, they're all about school. They're all about get your education. And while I am an advocate for that, I think it's a little bit not that straight of a line. She stretched education with the path, but you see, as a college professor, I know that the degree is not everything. Well, it's the high schooler degree or the college degree. I have a love-hate relationship, if you will, with our education system. They're teaching us how to be workers, how to be employees, better than they are how to be entrepreneurs. They're teaching us how to operate well within the confines of our jobs. We have to frequently now instead partner with organizations such as Novus Club to really figure out this entrepreneurship thing, to figure out how to fail properly, but then to rebound even better. We have to partner with Novus Club to think more futuristic in order to adopt a growth mindset. Our parents tell us to go to college, and then they tell us to go get a good job. And I don't think this growth mindset that I'm talking about, college is enough. I believe like events like this allow you to think out the box. So what is this growth mindset and fixed mindset thing that I'm talking about? I have to be honest. I didn't come up with this stuff on my own. I read a book, Dr. Carol Dweck from Stanford University, and she said there are two types of people in this world. She said there's the individual who has the fixed mindset. And notice the fixed mindset individuals, what they're saying to themselves. Failure is just the limit of my abilities. When I'm frustrated, I give up. And many of us have friends and relatives who kind of are just like this to a certain extent. But the growth mindset individual, on the other hand, sees failure as an opportunity. They say they can learn anything that they want to do. Challenges are not just setbacks, they help me grow. Right? And how about that last bullet down there in the growth mindset individual? I like to try new, different things as well. You see, the fact of the matter is, while I'm a college professor, I'm also a business and leadership coach. And what happens over time is I'm constantly having to coach individuals who have self-limiting, self-doubt in their lives and in their careers. Kind of like the kid on the diving board who sits there for about 15 or 20 minutes and he's got floaties on, right? I study these individuals who have failed and even those who have struggled. I love to research those who have even achieved a certain level of success. I think they have the recipe. But these self-limiting thoughts individuals, again, that's many of us. As a matter of fact, I was reading a study just over the weekend that say on an average day, we have anywhere from 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts in our head, right? But of those 12 to 60,000, over 60 to 70% of them are negative and self-limiting thoughts. Think about that. So it's more intentional. We have to have the intention of thinking bigger thoughts, of thinking better thoughts for that matter as well. And of course, these self-limiting thoughts can lead to self-limiting behaviors. I have to talk to leaders about getting out of their own way, about focusing on how to go through, around, or over obstacles that present themselves, because obstacles always do, and how to surround themselves with positive individuals who are doing things. You see, left to our own fruition, our mind is allows us to withdraw. And it's important that we have a path. I like to call this path a recipe. Not a recipe in the traditional sense where you're looking in the cookbook or everything like that, but a recipe where you can learn from others. Again, you're surrounding yourself with others who have done it, whether they have failed or they have succeeded, but you're learning from that. Yeah, I study these individuals, and one thing I noticed, they don't just rest on SMART goals. Anybody know what that SMART acronym stands for? Ooh, yes ma'am, right here in the front.
Specific,
yes.
measurable, attainable, reasonable, and timely.
Yes, absolutely. Everybody hear that in the back? No, they didn't. You mind saying that just a little bit louder for them, please?
Smart, measurable, attainable, relatable, and timely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. SMART is an acronym that many of you have been to college or even in grad school have heard the SMART goals acronym. But I'm not a big fan of just the realistic part of the SMART goals. I think realistic is just the beginning. I think you got to go beyond realistic. I think you got to think bigger. I think you got to have stretch goals. But not only do they have stretch goals, those successful people, they also learn how to execute. Now let me ask you guys this, and this is by a show of hands. How many know friends or family that have said, oh, I have a business idea? Raise your hand. Right? Now, of those of you who have their hand up, and many of you do, some of you are shy and don't want to raise your hand, but of those of you who did, how many of those actually started that business idea and went forward? Only a lot less. A lot less. But why is that? You see, the execution phase of this whole thing is what kind of prevents people from doing it. And it's SMART goals and the goals that we have is just not enough. What I think you do, you need that inner circle. That inner circle that's going to take you from here to here. I think it's a high performance type of thing. No successful individual you know does it by themselves. Let me say that again really slowly for you guys in the back. No successful individual is successful on their own. Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Zuckerberg, doggone near stole the idea, right? All the high-performing individuals, the success stories that we hear about, they all have somebody in their circle, their inner circle that I like to call it. And in order to get high-performing, you need other people, and the athletes know the secret to that. The athletes who have the talent already, the natural God-given ability, they still hire a coach to take them to the next level. But for some reason, us business people, us students, us individuals in the workforce, we don't see that as necessary. We decide that we want to rest on our own laurels to get us there. So why is it okay for them to achieve that high level of performance, but not us? Why don't we learn from them? And again, left to our own devices, our minds alone are going to push us to that negativity. So therefore, it's important to shift your mindset, ladies and gentlemen. Shift your mindsets early in order to accomplish whatever it is you desire. To adopt that mindset, you have to say that I can do anything, right? And actually plan it, strategize it, and execute it in order to accomplish it. But it gets sometimes a little bit more challenging the older that you get. So while you are still young, whatever the goals that you have right now, don't slow down. Go after them. And sometimes you'll run across friends and relatives who will say, hey, be patient. Take your time. And I'm saying, hey, keep working on your craft until your craft becomes high performing as well. So yeah, it's easier now as you're young. But here are some statistics that show that's going to be in your favor. That first statistic right there says the U.S. offers the best environment for entrepreneurs. So this is actually a study from the Global Entrepreneurship and Development Index. Of all the countries in the world, the United States rates number 1 in entrepreneurship. You have a leg up. 50 million Americans are self-employed. I'm not going to read them all to you, but I even like to pay attention to the last two. 50% of these businesses are started at home. And then, of course, if you like the financial stuff like I do, 62% of billionaires are actually just self-made. So ladies and gentlemen, I've been running down this whole thing. I've been giving you this lecture, and I hate to talk all by myself, so I'm going to start concluding here a little bit. And I want to give you a challenge to a certain extent, and I like to call the challenge the CFF. I'll tell you what that acronym means in a little bit as well. But before I do, remember that one of the first things I've been talking about is setting your goals. Identifying whatever your goals and your dreams are that all of you shared with each other. Don't cast those aside as life gets harder. Life always gets harder, right? More obstacles. And actually, I'll even suffice it to say, the more successful you get, the harder it gets. You know what they say, more money, right? But identify and set your goals. You know that they will change, your goals will change, your goals will continue to be updated, and that's okay. But make them big. Realize you'll have to work hard to achieve them. This will require you to change your thought patterns, to shift your mindset. So now to the acronym CFF. The first one is, we as entrepreneurs sometimes are seen as risk takers. Truth be told, I am no way a risk taker. But what I'd like to do is calculate my risks. I like to make sure I do my research and my homework, and then go ahead and take those risks after that. So I'm going to do enough research, but when it comes time to go, I'm the go guy. I'm the guy you got to compete with when you're done here and you're going out in the real world. I'm there waiting on you because I'm going while you might be not going. So definitely calculate your risks, but execute. So the execution part of it is fail fast. This is a big problem in society. We have a fear problem of failure. And when I ask a lot of people about where the fear comes from, it's more fear of what other people think, what our friends think, who's looking at me, who's seeing me. If you can get over that like today, you're going to be a success way beyond most people in society. So fail fast. Go ahead, fail, get over it so you can get to the success part of it. The other F is fix. Once you fail and fail fast, fix it instantaneously. Adapt, adjust, be flexible, and move on the fly, as I like to call it. Fix it on the fly. CFF. And after you've done all this stuff, do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Very simple. CFF, rinse and repeat. So remember I started out by saying, I asked you guys questions. You're not something. The title of this presentation is, You're Not Something Big Enough. I gave it away. You're not thinking big enough. But I'm asking you to begin thinking bigger. You guys shared your goals and your dreams. Don't just stop there. Go bigger. Again, over time, it's going to be harder to do so. Don't squash that. Partner with each other and help each other to continue to do that goal thing. Think bigger. I'm asking you even to think higher. You have a certain dollar amount in your head, go bigger than that. Go higher than that. Definitely do it. Again, partner with each other. And I'm even asking you to be more forward thinking. Don't just, you hear a lot of people say, hey, just worry about today. I'm saying, hey, plan better. Think forward about how it's going to be tomorrow so that you can prepare better for sure. As I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I love this sign that we often see on the highway. This kind of quote really supports everything that I've been saying here. You cannot do it alone. So you know when you're on the not the Eisenhower, but the Dan Ryan, right? And you're traveling in the regular lanes, right? And you look over to your left and you see people zooming by you, right? They always got something in common. They got 2 or more people in the car. Similarly in life, when you're trying to do it by yourself, you might be making a little bit of progress. But when you got somebody riding shotgun with you, it goes that much quicker, right? So ladies and gentlemen, again, as I conclude, my journey is not over. It's actually just begun. And at the beginning, I showed you a lot of different organizations that I've had and that I've been a part of. And I'll tell you, I've even reset my journey. I've kind of wiped it clean because I'm now jumping into another industry. I won't tell you what it is right now, but I've challenged myself to shift again, to shift my mindset again. So here's my challenge to you on top of the CFF. Never limit yourself to where you are. Why? Because you are not just where you are today. Yeah, you're going to crush it today. But you are just not today. You are way beyond today. You are so much 10 years from now and the possibilities. So you are who you think you are or can be in the future. Let me say that one more time and I'm done. You are who you think you can be in the future. Remember that. Thank you so much.